Hey there guys, EctoMaster. It is Sunday, so it is time for a case file, and yes, we're looking at Tomb Raider, so it's time I give my thoughts and my feels on this epic Nicky game. That's words I just made up. Anyways, let's talk about this. So I've completed it on the channel. It is start to finish. I didn't do everything. I haven't done all the tombs and collectibles and whatnot, but I did play B-Game, and I beat B-Game. So anything that's like side is just, I consider it extra and not really something that I'm going to. I'm not a 100% completionist kind of person. If in that time frame I completed 100%, but by the time I get to the end of the game, fantastic. But I'm not going to go back and play just to do the tombs and things like that. So Tomb Raider basic plot. It is pretty much a reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise, making Lara Croft a little more realistic, a little more sympathetic, I believe. And it takes place when she's still rather young. Now, Square Enix and I can't remember the other one. Square Enix is pretty much the one behind it, and it gives us the story of a supernatural force on an island that you were looking for, and now you can't get off of unless you defeat this Sun Queen and so forth. So, again, if you want to watch it, it is all on this channel. Feel free to go ahead and watch the whole thing. I played it throughout. But it's time to give my ideas and my thoughts on the game. Now, I've never played a Tomb Raider game prior to this, so this is my first foray into Tomb Raider. I do love the character in this. I love the characterization and the portrayal of Lara Croft. Definitely better than, ooh, look at her boobs, ooh, look at her boobs, ooh, she's shooting guns in tight, skinny outfits, and look at her boobs, look at her boobs. This gives a more realistic flair to the hero, or the heroine, I guess you could say. She is not some bimbo-y looking, big-chested woman. She is a coming-of-age woman, I suppose you could say, a young woman. And she is very well-grounded. It is much more realistic. I really, really enjoyed the story of this and the portrayal of Lara Croft. It is just a phenomenal game. I have very, very little to criticize on. Mainly, there are times when you're playing the game and they go to give a suggestion to, or a hint to something that you are currently doing at one point, and then a few points later, no, they don't give you that hint anymore. Or they teach you a skill that you do it like 2 or 3 times, and then you don't need that skill again for until much later in the game. Now, as we know, I don't play everything in one sitting, so there were times that I was forgetting those abilities because I wasn't sitting down and playing it ABC. I wasn't doing it day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. So there were times I had forgotten those skills. So little hints like that would have helped a little bit more in this game. The puzzles were could be a little daunting, as we saw in one of the last videos. I couldn't figure it out, and you go for the hint, and it doesn't really give you a hint. It just says, well, here's where you want to go. Yeah, no shit. That's why I know where I want to go. I know where I need to go. You're not giving me a hint on how I can get there. So maybe if they want to give hints in the game, if they're looking, again, if you're giving hints at one point and not giving them later on, that just kind of, it's like, all right, here's the hint. Great, thank you. I needed that. Where's now? I'm much further in the game. Where's this hint? I'm having a hard time with this. I have to look it up online. I'm not complaining that I had to look up hints. I'm not complaining that I'm not getting hints. I'm saying that if you're going to give hints at one point in the game, then maybe you should be consistent throughout. But all in all, that's really about it. The only other complaints I have, there's 2 more complaints. There's one about the weapons. It can be a little confusing from time to time. switching from weapons. As you can see, I'm right now using bow and arrow, but I couldn't find or figure out how to just shoot plain arrows. Once I got the fire arrows, anytime I switched out of the bow and arrow to, say, one of the guns, and then switched back to the bow and arrow, and went to the fire arrow. Well, I don't always want to use the fire arrow. I would like to use, be stealthy and use a regular arrow, but it was kind of confusing to figure out. Again, the wheel isn't all too easy about that. You only have the 4, and sometimes that was another thing, is that sure, it's shooting, it's easy, bow and arrow, it's easy, but then it's like, okay, so you're going to attach a line here, so middle click while you're using the right mouse button to zoom, and okay, it's a little convoluted. Maybe if you could bring it back down a little bit, maybe shift and click, or tab and click, or control and click. That's a little bit easier, because then it's right by your hand, and you're not trying to figure out how to, it's 3 different mouse functions, and yeah, sure, the mouse is easy enough to use, but, sometimes it's better if I'm focusing, okay, shift click. Boom, done. Easy. I do like the characterization of the other characters in the story, not just Lara Croft. Again, but there was archetypes that were pretty basic, and you could kind of tell when you were not going to have somebody, they were going to die. Oh, he went to go get the tools, and it's like, yeah, he's either dead or he's going to die. Oh, he saved your life. Yeah, he's going to die. Oh, he's saving your life. Yeah, he's going to die. Oh, this guy's a major douchebag. Yeah, that guy is definitely going to die. Some of the boss fights were a little bit hard too. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I did enjoy that they were complex. I wish there were sometimes you could skip some of the quote-unquote cutscenes. They weren't really cutscenes so much as they were, hey, there's something going on here at this point, and, oh, well, you gotta fight these guys. Well, now that you're fighting these guys, yeah, here's some more that we can fight. But, again, I'm just kind of nitpicking it, like they throw these wolves in here, then you don't see the wolves for a while, then they come back. You've got the Oni, and then you have this one big dude. It's like, oh, okay, now I don't have to fight him. And then later on, no, yes, you do have to fight him. And then there was sometimes like when you're pushing the button and it's saying you didn't push the button. And again, I'm kind of like, but I pushed it. Why is this? Or, I think I have more of an issue with that in say Jurassic Park the game than I did in this. This was like I thought I pushed it, or no, I didn't push it. Well, but again, all in all, I am now just kind of like nitpicking, trying to remember, is there anything terrible that I can really say about this game? And there's really not a lot, if any at all. I mean, if you want to take what I've said thus far, those are peanuts compared to everything else, compared to the style of the game, compared to the art of the game, and the look of the game, the feel of the game, the story, all of that is just phenomenal. It's fantastic. You've got the plot, the tombs are extra, you learn, semi-history, it's not real history, you learn, the history of the island. It's fantastic. My major complaint comes not from this game, but actually from its sequel. Of course, I talked about this in my exclusivity video about games going exclusive to consoles, and that would be the sequel to Tomb Raider, which is Rise of the Tomb Raider, which will be a timed exclusive on the Xbox One. And that is my biggest complaint here, whereas I have enjoyed this game, and I enjoyed it immensely. The game came out on all platforms at the same time, except for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. They came out a year after, only because, obvious reasons, it didn't come out, the systems weren't out yet. That being said, with the latest news from Microsoft being that they have exclusive time rights to Tomb Raider, it just makes this whole thing a little more, you know, it's so we understand everybody loved this game and we love the support everybody had for it. Yeah, about that. Not everybody's going to be able to play it. As I said in the video, Tomb Raider, as of June, had sold 6.5 million copies across 6 platforms. That is approximately 1.1 million copies per platform. Averaging, of course. That being said, with it just going on the Xbox One, Rise of the Tomb Raider, they are only going to sell, at best, 1.1 million copies within a year's time. That's just where I'm saying they're hurting the fans, they are hurting the system, because when you throw out a great game like this, and it's not just a great game, critically acclaimed, everybody who's played it, I've heard nothing but great, you know, those who say it's great, to limit it to one, to limit the sequel to one console, or to one platform is just silly. And I'm sorry to say that. It's going to be a while before it was already going to be a while before I played it on PC, because of the timed exclusiveness. It may be even a little longer, because I'm going to have to, because once they release it on PC, of course it's going to be full price, and having it released that late leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be one I was originally going to get on first day, and no longer going to happen. That will definitely have to wait until the Steam summer or winter sales, when I can get it for a rather cheap price, because it's, to me, I don't support I can't support a company who is going to make foolish decisions like that.
We might have trouble getting it up and running. Could sure use your help.
Because all in all, I love this game. I love Tomb Raider. This was a fantastic game. I can't say that enough times. Compared to the last game that I reviewed, which was Jurassic Park the game, and that was utter garbage. This, on the other hand, is amazing. It's a fantastic plot, fantastic story, fantastic characters, fantastic gameplay. I mean, there was a literal point in this game I was afraid to do, because she was going up a tower and she looked down, and it looked real enough for me that my fear of heights started to kick in. And I wasn't in first person or anything like that. It is all third person, and I'm sitting here going, oh, no, we do not do heights. We don't do heights, period, the end. And yet, I can do World of Warcraft and fly around and no problem. I get into this, no heights. No heights. That's about all I can really say. When a game is good, I can't say much. There's not much I can really talk about. It's when it's bad that I really kind of can rip into a game. This game isn't one of those that I'm going to rip into. So that's it for this week, guys. We'll be back next week with another case file. Until then, I will see you guys next time.
Something is keeping us here. I have to go back to the monastery.
Are you sure?
Yes, Sam. I need you to keep this to yourself for now. I'm going to help Reyes fix that boat, but then I'm taking it inland.
Laura, I don't know about this.
Just trust me. It's the only way.
All right. You be careful.